Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is ANPR, All Night Project Radio. I'm your host, Ryder, and today is our first day on the air. Well, technically, we're not on the air. We're on YouTube, and possibly other things as well. I am looking into whether or not I'll put my show, this new show that I just started, on other things, other platforms as well, such as iTunes. We shall have to see. Those of you who are here, who are just now tuning in, I want to say welcome. I really hope that you're having a good day, a good night, a good evening, whatever it is right now where you are. I really hope that you're doing well, and I do welcome you. It is currently 12:16 a.m. January 18th, 2018, as we start off our very first broadcast. So, those of you who are here may be wondering what you're doing here. Why are you here? Well, you're probably here, like me, just because you are looking for something to do, perhaps. For me, I have been really interested in radio most of my life, and I've always wanted to be on the radio. I've always had an interest in it, and I've listened to the radio most of my life. I recall even back when I was much, much younger than I currently am, I would be riding, say, for example, along with my parents on their paper route, and we would listen to talk radio all night long. So I'd help them pass the papers, help them package the papers in the beginning of the night, help them roll them up, throw rubber bands around them, or throw them inside the plastic waterproof sleeving, and we would load them into the back of the car, all the while listening to talk radio. We would go then pass out the papers over the course of the night, listening to talk radio. And whenever I got too tired, I would fall asleep in the back on the papers, listening to talk radio. And talk radio was something that I've always really enjoyed, though I haven't listened to much talk radio recently. It's been a little while since I've listened to talk radio, but I've always enjoyed radio. I've always enjoyed listening to music on the radio. I've always enjoyed to listening just to lectures, things along those lines. And I even attempted to get a job on the radio a few times, and I was very close once. However, things didn't work out because I was actually about to move in about 4 or 5 months at the time, and therefore I was not able to secure the job as I was moving. Though they did say that they did want to have me, so that made me feel pretty good. Now, some may say that making my very first show with a bit of a cold is a bad idea, and those people are probably right. But I really wanted to get this started before January was over. I've had this idea mulling around in my mind for quite a few months, and I figured what better time to start this new show, this new project, than January. January is symbolically the start of a new year. You know, it's the start of a bunch of new things. We have the New Year's resolutions. Well, this, I guess, would be one of my New Year's resolutions, to start All Night Project Radio. Now, I came up with this name after searching quite a while, looking for different names that I could use. I was thinking about overnight, I was thinking about all night radio, like overnight project radio, all sorts of different combinations of the things, of the words, of the phrases, looking for, a good acronym, ANPR, You don't want to say ANPR radio as you're saying radio twice, but I think it works out. And it basically does the job that I want it to do, which is portray the fact that I stay up late often, and I have nothing really to do when I'm up this late. So I could listen to some radio, or I could make a radio-like show for others to listen to. So that's kind of where ANPR was born. Now, I'm not quite sure exactly the way that I want to roll this out. I know that YouTube has a fairly strict policy when it comes to playing music. I would like to share music on this radio program, on this radio project. I would like to share some of the music that I'm listening to, things along those lines. But I know that they would be demonetizing videos and such like that. Now, with this being a brand new YouTube channel, the chances of me being monetized anytime soon are fairly slim, and honestly, I'm not really that worried about it. I've done YouTube in the past, and I've had a monetized channel, and I've had to deal with a lot of these issues. With these, this is demonetized, that's demonetized. 6 months down the road, your video that was doing fine is now demonetized because somebody's claimed something on it. And it's just a headache. It's just horrific and horrible. So, honestly, I'm doing this for the fun, and I'm thinking about just leaving monetization off indefinitely, even if I do get monetized. Now, there are some people out there who may know that YouTube has very recently, I think it was actually announced yesterday, have announced some new things for the platform. And one of those things is they have now raised the bar in terms of getting monetized on the channel. And I'm not going to bore you all with the details, but suffice it to say, now you have to have at least 1,000 subscribers and at least, I believe it's 4,000 hours watched on the platform. That is an awful lot to ask of a new creator. So I'm not too worried about it, because I know more than likely we're not going to reach that anytime soon, and that is fine. That is perfectly fine and perfectly okay with me. I have no qualms, no issues with that at all. This project is aptly named as a project because it is a project that I've started. What I want to do with this channel, with this project, is create something for me, something that I want to do, something that I want to listen to. And I welcome you guys, every one of you, to join me along the way. I think this is going to be something that'll be an amazing and awesome experience, and you guys are absolutely welcome to join me along the way as we discover this together. I don't really have many outlines or notes about what this show, this program will be. However, I do know some of the things that it won't be. I will not be speaking much, if at all, on controversial subjects. I have no desire to get into arguments over politics, religion, things like that. While I do hold my own strong values, and values I can share, but my stance is on things along the lines of politics and religion. We're not really going to be getting into those sort of things. Not here, not on this channel, not in this show. One thing I do want to explain, or I guess rather share with you, is music. Music is something that I absolutely love, and I'm actually a creator of music as well. This is something that I've been doing since probably the age of 4 or 5. I do remember that I was in piano lessons at the age of 4 and performing at the age of 5. Nothing amazing. I wasn't a Mozart, but I did learn music very, very early on in my life, and it's something that has carried through with me even to this point. And now I haven't played much music recently, but I have. When I say recently, I mean within the last couple of years, but as of very recently, I have gotten back into creating music, and it has been such a joy. So music is something that is very dear to me and very near and dear to my heart. So I feel like from time to time I'll perhaps share some new music that I've come across or old things that I really do love, and I will kind of point you guys in that general direction. And with that said, I guess I'll speak about the one song that I really have been listening to quite often, on repeat even, most recently, and that is the White Winter Hymnal by the Fleet Foxes. Now, some of you may know the Fleet Foxes. As a matter of fact, many of you may know the Fleet Foxes, and many of you may know the White Winter's Hymnal. This is a song that, probably the only song from Fleet Foxes that I've actually listened to quite often, quite a bit of. And I've only recently started branching out into some of their other songs, which are very good as well. And I like the aesthetic that they have to their songs. It feels like a lot of the songs that I listen to have the same sort of aesthetic to them. This, I don't know if you want to call it a folksy sort of sound to them. It's amazing. I really do love it. It's quite unique in the strain of music that I generally listen to. I first remember hearing this song back when I was in community college. A friend of mine who was going to school for the same thing, and actually we became friends through school because of the classes that we attended together. Well, we would go out to eat pretty much every day. We would share lunches together, considering she and I both went to 3 out of 4 of the same classes. We would go to the first class, go get lunch, and then come back for the next 2. And I recall one day we went to Starbucks. And the Starbucks that we went to was actually a very unique Starbucks. And I've only been in one like this before. And that is a Starbucks that had an inside fireplace. Or, I'm sorry, I don't believe it was an interior fireplace. It may have been, no, it was an interior fireplace, but they also had an exterior patio area. And I don't know why I thought it was an exterior fireplace. But anyway, we went there, we got ourselves a snack, probably like a blueberry muffin or something along those lines. We sat there and pulled out our laptops, because we always carried our laptops everywhere, especially since we were in school. Well, she showed me some of these songs that I've never heard of before, and one of them was White Winter's Hymnal. And that song just stuck with me, and it has been at least 9 years since I very first, 8 or 9 years since I very first heard that song. And it is still stuck with me as one of the most relaxing and calming songs. I'll just throw it on whenever I feel overwhelmed or something. I'll just throw this song on. I'll listen to it a couple times on repeat, and it just calms me. It's a song that I genuinely recommend that you guys check out if you haven't already. And if you have, well, then you know what I'm talking about when I talk about this very specific aesthetic sound that this music has. I'm very interested if any of you know of any other songs that are similar to White Winter's Hymnal, and you would like to share in the comments below. That would be amazing. I'd be more than happy to read your comments and even feature them here on the show. As a matter of fact, I was thinking that perhaps I could read comments or messages or whatever you guys would like me to read. Now, of course, if you don't want me to read it out, pardon me. Muted my mic there for a second. Had to cough. My apologies. As I said, I'm still recovering from a cold. I just had to get a drink of water there. Now, one thing you'll kind of notice right away in the fact that you're listening to this show, and you hear that. You hear that I muted my mic. You hear that I took a drink. I'm not very interested in editing this show down. This is a live, raw show. And while it may not be 100% professional in the sense that, well, I just took a drink and everybody heard it, I don't think that's exactly a bad thing. Some of you may agree. Some of you may disagree. It's kind of how it is. Pardon me. Fortunately, we're not going to have to deal with this cold much longer. I am on the back end of it. So maybe even by the next recording, by the next posting, you won't have to listen to that anymore. Back to comments and messages. I do believe that, or I am of the opinion that I can read out any of your comments or messages here on the air. and we can have an ongoing dialogue if you so choose. Now, it's completely up to you if you would like it to be read or not. Let me know if you would like me to read it, or let me know if you would not like me to read it. Well, we'll kind of play around with it. We'll see what we think. If I don't, I mean, it depends. We're a relatively small channel right now. As a matter of fact, at a time of recording this, we have 0 subscribers. So, starting off, I can read just comments and respond to them live. However, as time progresses, if we end up with multiple comments that I won't really be able to get to on the live show here on ANPR, then I can just comment down below as well. And then you can also choose just to send it to me through YouTube's messaging service, and I can read them through there. I'm open to any of that. Any sort of interaction, I think, is great. As I said, I used to be a YouTuber. I used to have a different channel, and that channel will never be named as far as I am concerned at this time. I am working to separate myself from that channel, not for any particular reason other than the fact that I want to create something that is entirely different, and I don't want to have a mixture of people who are coming here because of my previous content. This channel is specifically designed to be an audio-only radio project, essentially. So, with that said, you can ask for it, but I'm not sharing at this time what my other channel is or was. So, my apologies if you were interested. So that's really where I think I'm going to leave this very first episode of All Night Project Radio. I really hope that you guys had a blast, had a good time with this video, and I am not opposed to uploading multiple times. I'm not quite sure what the upload schedule will be. At this time, I'd like to do minimum 1 a week, and we'll see where it goes. If I feel like recording more, I very well may. And we may have 5 or 6 per week. It all depends at this point. We can speak more along terms of time and things like that in the next show, the next broadcast here. But as it stands, this is the first one. This is the very first project radio that we've had, and I certainly hope that you guys have had as good a time as I have had with this broadcast. So please let me know in the comments below if you've made it this far, if you've made it to the end, and if you want to hear more. I certainly would love to hear from you. This is Ryder with ANPR signing off.